8 beautiful behaviors that make her addicted to you. Psychology tricks. People are not attracted to perfection. They're drawn by presence, consistency, and the way they feel when they are with you. Most men get attraction completely wrong. They think it is built through big moves, expensive dinners, flashy surprises, or always knowing the perfect words to say. But real attraction does not grow from performance. It grows from emotional experience. A woman does not stay deeply interested because of what a man spends on her. She stays interested because of the energy she feels around him, the calm confidence he carries, and the way his presence lingers in her mind long after he is gone. The truth is simple. The men women remember are not always the loudest, richest, or most polished. They are the ones who know how to create a feeling that is rare, steady, and unforgettable. That kind of pull comes from certain beautiful behaviors, and most men never take the time to develop them. In this video, I want to show you 3 powerful behaviors that naturally deepen attraction and make a woman want more of your attention, your time, and your presence. Not because you're playing games, not because you're forcing anything, but because you're becoming the kind of man who feels different from the rest. The kind of man who is grounded, genuine, and hard to forget. And once you understand this, everything starts to shift. You stop chasing attention because your presence starts speaking for itself. So let's begin with the first behavior, because this one can change the entire way she sees you. Behavior number 1, self-priority mindset. Behavior number 1 is the self-priority mindset, and if you don't understand this, you will lose attraction without even realizing why it's slipping away. Most men make the same quiet mistake. They meet a woman, feel excitement, and suddenly everything shifts. They cancel plans, they rearrange their schedule, they put their own goals on pause, and they start orbiting her as if she is the center of their universe. But here is the truth you must accept. Attraction doesn't grow in imbalance, it fades in it. When you make her your priority before she has earned that place, you create silent pressure. You signal that your life lacks structure without her, and that is something female psychology instantly detects, not consciously, but emotionally, instinctively. And once that shift happens, respect begins to erode, slowly, subtly, but surely. Don't do that. Don't hand over your time so easily. Don't sacrifice your purpose for temporary attention. Don't confuse availability with value. Because a man who is always available appears predictable, and predictability kills curiosity. It weakens emotional tension, and without tension, there is no spark. Instead, be grounded. Be focused. Be a man who has a life that is already full, already meaningful, already moving forward, with or without her. That is the essence of real psychology tricks, not manipulation, but alignment with human nature. Understanding how to fall in love begins with understanding that people are drawn to those who have direction, not desperation. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This applies directly here. You must master your attention, your priorities, your energy. Because the moment you lose control of those, you lose the quiet strength that makes you attractive. A man with a self-priority mindset does not ignore a woman. He simply does not abandon himself for her. He chooses connection. He doesn't cling to it. He invests, but he doesn't overextend. And that balance is rare, and rarity is what creates value. Understand this deeply. In female psychology, respect always comes before deep emotional attachment. And respect is built when she sees that your world does not revolve around her, but she is welcome to be part of it. That changes everything. Because now she is not dealing with a man who is seeking approval. She is experiencing a man who has standards, a man who decides, a man who lives with intention. And here's where it becomes powerful. When she feels that your time is not guaranteed, that your attention is earned, not freely given, her investment increases. She starts leaning in. She starts wondering. She starts valuing your presence more. This is how to fall in love in a natural, grounded way, not through force, but through emotional dynamics that are rooted in respect and space. Don't misunderstand this. This is not about playing games. This is about living correctly, about having a life that excites you so much that no one person can replace it. And when she sees that, she doesn't feel pushed away. She feels invited into something meaningful, something stable, something real. Remember, the strongest psychology tricks are the ones that come from authenticity, from self control, from clarity. And when you embody this self priority mindset, you stop chasing attention and start attracting it. You stop seeking validation and start becoming the source of it. You stop asking for love and start creating the conditions where love naturally grows. That is the shift. That is the edge. That is how to fall in love in a way that lasts. And once you truly understand this principle of female psychology, you will never again make the mistake of putting someone else above your own purpose. Because you will realize that the most attractive thing you can offer is not your availability, it is your direction, your discipline, and your unwavering respect for your own life. Behavior number 2, controlled vulnerability. Behavior number 2, controlled vulnerability, is where most men either lose all their power or finally step into it. Understand this clearly. Vulnerability is not about spilling everything you've been through the moment you sit across from her. It's not about turning a date into a therapy session. It's not about seeking reassurance, approval, or emotional rescue. That is not strength. That is a lack of direction. Real vulnerability, the kind rooted in old Stoic wisdom, is measured, intentional, and earned. It is revealed slowly, like a story unfolding chapter by chapter, not dumped all at once like an open wound. You must understand this. Mystery creates attraction, but depth creates connection, and controlled vulnerability is the bridge between the two. As Marcus Aurelius once said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That means showing your truth through your actions, your calm presence, and your steady emotional control, not through chaotic expression. You don't need to say everything to prove you're real. You need to reveal just enough to make her lean in closer. That is power. That is Stoicism when in action. In modern life, where everyone overshares on social media, where emotions are broadcasted instantly, controlled vulnerability becomes rare, and rarity creates value. Think about it. Most people today either hide everything behind a mask or reveal everything without filter. Both extremes destroy attraction. If you are closed off, you appear distant, mechanical, hard to connect with. She feels nothing because there is nothing to feel. If you are overly open, you remove the challenge, you remove the intrigue, and you place emotional weight on her shoulders that she never asked to carry. Neither path leads to respect. Neither path builds desire. But when you master controlled vulnerability, you create a different experience entirely. You share your ambitions, your vision, your purpose, not to impress, but to express. You speak about where you're going in life, what drives you, what you stand for. That gives her something to believe in. That gives her something to connect to. And when you briefly touch on your past, the struggles, the lessons, the scars, you do it without asking for sympathy. You do it without needing her to fix anything. You simply show her, this is where I've been. This is what shaped me. And I've already handled it. That is an iron mind. That is quiet strength. You must remember this. Women are not attracted to perfection. They are attracted to emotional control. They're drawn to a man who feels deeply but chooses carefully what he reveals and when. Controlled vulnerability says, I trust you enough to show you this part of me, but it also says, I am still in control of myself. That balance is everything. It creates a sense of exclusivity. It makes her feel chosen. It makes her feel like she is seeing something that others don't get access to. And that feeling, being let into a man's inner world, is powerful. It stays with her. It lingers. It grows. Epictetus once said, no man is free who is not master of himself. And that applies here completely. If your emotions control you, if your need for validation drives your words, then you are not leading the interaction, you are reacting to it. But when you operate from an iron mind, when you choose your moments with intention, when you reveal with purpose instead of impulse, you become unforgettable. Here's the practical truth you need to apply immediately. Don't rush emotional depth. Let it build. Let conversations breathe. Let curiosity do the work. When she asks about you, don't give her everything. Give her enough to answer, but leave space for her to wonder. When the moment feels right, when there's connection, When there's comfort, when there's trust, then you open up slightly more. Not everything, just a layer. Then you step back into your calm, grounded presence. That contrast, depth followed by stability, is what creates emotional impact. That is what makes her think about you later. That is what separates you from every other man who either says too much or nothing at all. You must be disciplined. You must be intentional. You must lead the emotional pace. And understand this clearly. Controlled vulnerability is not a tactic. It is a reflection of who you are becoming. A man who has done the work. A man who has faced his past, learned from it, and moved forward without needing others to carry it for him. A man who can express without losing control. A man who can feel without falling apart. That is the essence of Stoicism win. That is how you build attraction that lasts beyond surface level interest. Because what she becomes drawn to is not just what you say, it's how you carry yourself while saying it. Calm, grounded, certain, unshaken. So don't overshare. Don't shut down. Stand in the middle. Choose your moments. Reveal with purpose. Hold your frame. Let her earn access to your deeper layers. And when you do open up, do it with strength, not with need. Do it with clarity, not confusion. Do it as a man who has already handled his storms, not one still drowning in them. That is controlled vulnerability. That is an iron mind in action. And that is what creates a connection she doesn't just enjoy, but one she keeps coming back to again and again. If this hit you, don't just nod and move on, apply it. Stop oversharing. Stop hiding. Find that balance where your strength and your truth meet. That's where real attraction lives. That's where respect begins. Hit like, subscribe, and lock this lesson into your mind. Then drop this in the comments to commit to it. I reveal my truth with strength, never with need. Behavior number 3, calm emotional control. Most men react instantly, automatically, without thinking. Something happens, a message feels off, a tone changes, and suddenly they're explaining, chasing, fixing, proving. They believe action equals strength. They believe speed equals confidence. But that is where they lose their edge. That is where attraction quietly slips away. Don't react. Respond. There is a difference, and that difference defines whether you stand as a high-value man or just another man seeking approval. Reaction is emotional. Response is intentional. Reaction is driven by fear. Response is guided by control. And women, whether they say it or not, feel that difference immediately. Think about this. When she tests you, and she will, it rarely comes in obvious ways. It comes subtly. A delayed reply, a slightly colder tone, a playful challenge that carries a hidden edge. Most men see this and feel tension rising in their chest. They start asking themselves, did I do something wrong? Then they act from that insecurity. They double text. They explain themselves. They try to fix something that wasn't broken. Don't do that. Be the man who pauses. Be the man who observes. Be the man who understands that not every shift requires a reaction. That is masculine energy in its purest form, still, grounded, unshaken. When she pulls away, most men panic. They feel the distance and immediately try to close the gap. They chase harder. They talk more. They give more. But here is the truth. Attraction does not grow in pursuit fueled by anxiety. It grows in space filled with confidence. So when she pulls away, you stay centered. You don't ignore her out of pride. You don't chase her out of fear. You continue your life. You stay on your path. That is what makes you different. That is what helps you attract women naturally, without force. That calmness, it speaks louder than words. It tells her, without you saying anything, I am okay, with or without this moment. And that message is powerful because it shows emotional independence. It shows that your identity is not tied to her reactions. And that is rare. Most men are emotionally dependent without realizing it. Their mood shifts based on her mood. Their confidence rises and falls based on her attention. That creates instability. And instability quietly erodes attraction. But a high-value man does not fluctuate like that. His center is stable. His emotions are his responsibility. He doesn't hand that responsibility over to anyone else. When emotions rise, arguments, misunderstandings, tension, you stay grounded. You don't raise your voice to match hers. You don't rush to defend every point. You don't turn every disagreement into a battle you must win. Be calm, because calmness in those moments does two things at once. First, it creates safety. She feels that she can express herself without chaos exploding around her. Second, it creates intrigue. She begins to wonder, why is he so steady? And that question draws her in. Understand this deeply. A man who cannot control his emotions will always try to control the situation. He will try to manage outcomes, people, conversations. But it never works long term. It creates pressure. It creates resistance. But a man who controls himself never needs to control anything else. That is real power. That is the kind of masculine energy that doesn't demand attention but earns it. The kind that doesn't chase but attracts. The kind that doesn't force connection but allows it to grow naturally. And here's something most men overlook. Calm emotional control is not about suppressing feelings. It is not about becoming cold or distant. That is not strength. That is avoidance. Real control is awareness. You feel everything. You notice the irritation, the doubt, the urge to react. But you choose not to be led by it. You take a breath. You create space between feeling and action. And in that space, you decide who you want to be. That is discipline. That is mastery. And mastery is attractive. Because when a woman sees that you are not easily shaken, she begins to relax around you. She stops testing as often. She stops pushing boundaries just to see where you stand. Not because she loses interest, but because she starts to trust your consistency. Safety and excitement rarely exist together. But when a man has calm emotional control, he creates both. She feels safe because you're steady. She feels intrigued because you are not predictable in an emotional sense. You don't react like everyone else. And that difference, that is what makes her think about you when you're not around. Don't underestimate the power of being calm in a world full of reactions. Today, everyone is quick to respond, quick to argue, quick to defend. Very few people take the time to stay grounded. That alone sets you apart. So practice this. The next time you feel triggered, don't speak immediately. Pause. Let the emotion pass through you instead of controlling you. Ask yourself, what would a high-value man do in this moment? Then act from that place. When you do this consistently, something shifts. You stop seeking validation. You stop fearing loss. You start living from a place of quiet confidence. And that energy changes how people see you, how women respond to you, how attraction forms around you. You don't need to say much. You don't need to prove anything. Your presence becomes enough. That is how you attract women without chasing them. That is how you embody masculine energy without forcing it. That is how you become the man who doesn't just experience attraction, but creates it. Be calm. Stay grounded. Control yourself. Everything else will follow. Behavior number 4, emotional challenge. Behavior number 4 is emotional challenge, and this is where most men quietly lose their edge without even realizing it. They believe agreement is the pathway to connection. She speaks, they nod. She shares an opinion, they immediately validate it. She expresses a desire, they rush to fulfill it. It feels polite. It feels safe. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Safety without tension creates boredom. And boredom quietly kills attraction. Don't fall into that trap. Don't confuse being agreeable with being valuable. A high-value man understands that attraction is not built on constant agreement. It is built on emotional stimulation, contrast, and presence. A woman does not want a mirror that simply reflects everything she says. She wants depth. She wants friction in the right places. She wants a man who can stand firm in his own thoughts without needing her approval. That is emotional challenge, not disrespect, not conflict for the sake of ego, but thoughtful resistance, playful disagreement, calm confidence. That is what begins to truly attract women on a deeper level. Because when you challenge her mind, you engage her emotions. And when you engage her emotions, you become unforgettable. Think about it like this. If everyone around her says yes, and you are the only one who calmly says, I don't see it that way, you instantly separate yourself. You become interesting. You become real. You become a man with substance. That is masculine energy in action. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is grounded, steady, and unapologetic. You must be that man. Be the one who listens fully, then responds honestly. Be the one who smiles and says, that's one way to look at it, but here's how I see it. That is where attraction begins to shift. Now understand this clearly. Emotional challenge works because it creates tension, but controlled tension. The kind that makes her think about you after the conversation ends. The kind that makes her replay your words in her mind. You are not trying to win arguments. You are creating engagement. You are sparking curiosity. You are showing her that you are not easily swayed. And that is rare. That is powerful. That is what helps a man truly attract women without chasing them. Most men are afraid of this. They fear losing her approval. They fear saying the wrong thing. So they stay quiet. They play it safe. They become predictable. But predictable men are forgettable men. Don't be that. Be the man who can tease her lightly when she exaggerates. Be the man who can laugh and say, you're being a little dramatic right now, without tension, without anger, just calm certainty. That kind of energy shifts everything. It tells her you are not intimidated. It tells her you see her clearly. And more importantly, it tells her you are not trying to impress her at the cost of your own identity. That is where respect begins. And without respect, attraction cannot survive. A high-value man does not hand out validation freely. He observes. He listens. He decides. And when he gives appreciation, it carries weight. It matters because she knows it is earned, not given out of habit. This creates a powerful emotional dynamic. She begins to invest. She begins to try. She begins to wonder what it takes to impress you. That is the shift. That is the moment when attraction deepens beyond surface level. You must understand something deeper here. Women are used to being admired, complimented, praised for appearance. But very few men challenge them mentally and emotionally in a way that feels exciting, not threatening. When you do this correctly, you create a space where she feels seen beyond the surface. Not just for how she looks, but for how she thinks, how she reacts, how she carries herself. That is rare, and rare things are valued. So don't treat her like she's perfect just because she's beautiful. See her fully, the strengths, the flaws, the contradictions. And when you call those out with a calm smile, something interesting happens. She feels alive in your presence. She feels stimulated. She feels like she cannot predict you. And the human mind is naturally drawn to what it cannot fully predict or control. That is psychology. That is attraction at its core. You must also have boundaries. This is non-negotiable. Emotional challenge without boundaries is just playful talk. Boundaries give it structure. When she tests you, and she will, you must not fold. If she withdraws to see a reaction, don't chase. If she pushes limits, don't tolerate it. Stay calm. Stay centered. Walk away if needed. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. That is masculine energy in its purest form. Quiet, controlled, unshaken. And here's where it becomes truly powerful. When you combine emotional challenge with consistency in your character, she begins to feel something she cannot easily find elsewhere. A sense of wanting to rise. A desire to meet your standards. Not because you demanded it, but because your presence naturally inspires it. That is how a high-value man operates. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't chase validation. He creates an environment where others want to earn it. When she finally does something that genuinely impresses you, acknowledge it, but do it with intention. Look her in the eyes and say, I respect that. Or, that's actually impressive. Keep it simple. Keep it real. That moment will hit deeper than 100 compliments ever could, because she knows it came from discernment, not habit. She knows she earned it. And that feeling stays with her. That is the addiction. Not obsession in a negative sense, but a deep emotional pull. The desire to be better when she is around you. The curiosity of where she stands with you. The excitement of not always knowing what you will say next. You become a mental and emotional experience, not just a presence. But remember this: emotional challenge must always be balanced with respect. Never cross into disrespect. Never aim to embarrass or diminish. The goal is not to break her down. The goal is to elevate the interaction, to create a connection that is dynamic, engaging, and real. That is how you attract women who are not just interested, but invested. So don't agree with everything. Don't be predictable. Don't hand over your voice just to keep peace. Be grounded. Be thoughtful. Be willing to challenge, to tease, to stand firm. That is how you build attraction that lasts. That is how you become unforgettable. And when you master this, you'll notice something shift. You're no longer chasing attention. You're commanding it quietly, naturally, without force. That is the power of emotional challenge. If this hit you, don't just watch, apply it. Stop agreeing just to be liked. Be the man who challenges, who thinks, who stands firm. That's where real attraction begins. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp, no-nonsense insight, and lock this into your mindset by dropping this in the comments. I don't chase approval. I create attraction through standards. Behavior number 5, selective attention. Behavior number 5 is selective attention, and this is where many men either build real attraction or quietly destroy it without even realizing it. Attention is currency. That is not poetry. That is reality. In modern life, where everyone is glued to a screen, refreshing messages, reacting to notifications, and handing out access like it costs nothing, a man who knows how to control his attention immediately stands apart. Most men give it away too easily. Constant texting, instant replies, endless availability. They think more access creates more desire. It does not. It often creates familiarity without respect, closeness without mystery, presence without weight. And once your attention becomes predictable, automatic, and constant, it starts to feel common. Do not miss that. What is common is rarely cherished. What is always there is often taken for granted. As old Stoic wisdom teaches, anything valuable must be governed, not spilled in every direction. Your attention is part of your life. Your focus is part of your strength. Your presence is part of your identity. Do not hand those things out carelessly. A man who attracts deeply is selective. He does not ignore her to play games. He does not disappear to manufacture confusion. He does something far more powerful. He gives attention when it matters. He listens fully when he is present. He speaks with purpose. He responds with intention. But he does not overextend. He does not flood every silence with words. He does not treat access to him like a free public service. He understands that when he is there, he must truly be there, and when he is not, he remains rooted in his own life, his own mission, his own standards. That creates contrast, and contrast creates emotional weight. A rushed reply means little. A thoughtful reply means something. Half listening while scrolling means little. Eye contact, calmness, and real attention mean something. Being available every second means little. Being fully present in the right moments means everything. This is why selective attention works. Moments with you feel intentional, not routine, not automatic, not cheap. And when a woman feels that your attention is not random, but earned by genuine connection and given with depth, she feels its value. She remembers the conversation longer. She replays the moment. She notices the difference between you and the men who throw words around all day because they have no discipline over themselves. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That applies here more than most men understand. If you cannot govern your impulses, your texting habits, your need to be noticed, your urge to fill every gap, then you are not leading your attention. Your attention is leading you. And that is dangerous, because the man who chases constant contact often believes he is building connection when he is actually revealing dependency. Do not chase that trap. Be calm. Be measured. Be grounded. In today's world, selective attention is more attractive than ever because distraction is everywhere and discipline is rare. Everyone wants to be seen, but very few know how to truly see another person. Everyone wants replies, but very few know how to make their presence feel meaningful. That is why this behavior has such power. It is not just a dating tactic, it is a life principle. The same man who protects his attention in relationships protects it in business, in health, in purpose, in peace of mind. He knows that what he feeds grows. He knows that where attention goes, energy follows. He knows that if he gives too much of himself to every message, every mood, every little emotional fluctuation, he will slowly lose the center of his own life. And a man without a center is easy to forget. So do not become endlessly available. Become intentional. Do not respond from boredom. Respond from clarity. Do not talk just to keep her engaged. Speak when you have something real to say. Do not confuse frequency with depth. 100 empty exchanges do not equal one memorable moment. One focused conversation. One calm, undivided hour. One sincere, grounded response. Those things carry weight. Those things linger. Those things create desire because they feel different in a world drowning in noise. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The same can be said of attention. It is not that men have too little attention to give. It is that they waste too much of it on proving, chasing, performing, and over-explaining. Stop wasting it. Guard it. Refine it. Use it like a man who understands its price. This is the heart of old Stoic wisdom, and it is one of the reasons Stoicism win as a mindset is so powerful for modern men. It teaches you that self-mastery comes before influence. It teaches you that restraint is not emptiness, it is strength under control. It teaches you that an iron mind does not react to every impulse. It chooses. It decides. It acts with purpose. And that kind of man naturally creates attraction because he is not trying to pull people toward him with desperation. He is drawing them in with depth. So when you are with her, be with her completely. Listen like her words matter. Notice her tone. Notice her energy. Notice what she does not say. Give her the rare experience of feeling fully heard. But then return to your life. Return to your work. Return to your discipline. Return to your mission. Let her see that your attention is sincere, but not uncontrolled. Warm, but not excessive. Present, but not needy. This balance matters. It matters because women do not just respond to words. They respond to emotional experience. They respond to how a man feels. And a man who feels grounded, focused, and intentional is far more compelling than one who is always hovering, always checking, always trying to secure reassurance through constant contact. Remember this clearly. Scarcity alone is not attractive. Coldness is not attractive. Emotional absence is not attractive. Intentional presence is attractive. Depth is attractive. Selectivity is attractive. A man who knows when to step in and when to step back creates rhythm, and rhythm creates tension, anticipation, and appreciation. That is why she craves more. Not because you are playing a role, but because you are bringing value instead of volume. You are bringing quality instead of quantity. You are bringing centered energy instead of restless energy. That is the difference. That is the edge. That is how Stoicism win becomes real in daily life, not just as words, but as conduct. Build that iron mind. Practice old Stoic wisdom in the small moments. Delay the impulse to answer everything immediately. Let silence breathe. Let your life remain full. Let your attention stay expensive. Because the man who masters his attention masters his presence, and the man who masters his presence becomes unforgettable. Not loud, not dramatic, not excessive, unforgettable. Behavior number 6, unpredictable presence. Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of man's desire to understand. That insight from Neil Armstrong captures something most men overlook when it comes to attraction, because the truth is simple but uncomfortable. Predictability kills desire faster than rejection ever could. And if you want to understand real psychology tricks, if you want to truly grasp female psychology and how to fall in love in a way that feels natural and powerful, then you must first accept this. Attraction is not built on constant availability. It is built on emotional rhythm, contrast, and the space between moments. So behavior number 1, unpredictable presence, is not about playing games. It is about becoming a man whose life has movement, depth, and direction. Because when you show up the same way every single day, texting at the same hour, replying instantly, always being there without variation, you remove all tension. And without tension, there is no curiosity. Without curiosity, there is no emotional pull. And without that pull, there is no lasting attraction. So don't be the man she can predict down to the minute. Don't be the man whose energy never changes. Because the human mind, especially when it comes to female psychology, is wired to chase what it cannot fully map out. We crave patterns, but we are captivated by what breaks them. Think about the things that hold your attention in your own life, the songs you replay, the conversations that linger in your mind, the people you cannot forget. They all have one thing in common. They surprise you. They reveal themselves in layers. They don't give you everything all at once. And that is exactly how to fall in love in a deep and lasting way, not through constant presence, but through meaningful presence followed by space. So be fully there when you are there. Give her your attention, your focus, your energy. Make her feel seen and understood, because that creates emotional depth. But then step back, not as a tactic, not as manipulation, but because you actually have a life to return to, a mission that demands your attention, goals that require your discipline. And when you do this right, something powerful happens. She begins to feel the contrast. One moment she has your full presence, your voice, your attention, and it feels real, grounded, and strong, and the next moment you are gone, not in a confusing or hurtful way, but in a way that signals purpose. You are at the gym, working on your body, you are building something, you are out with friends, you are living a life that continues with or without her. And that is where these psychology tricks start to work on a deeper level, because now her mind begins to fill in the gaps. She starts asking herself questions. Where is he? What is he doing? Why isn't he always here like other men? And those questions create emotional investment. That curiosity becomes attention, and attention, over time, becomes attachment. And this is where most men fail, because they misunderstand absence. They think disappearing alone creates value, but empty absence does nothing. If you vanish, but your life is empty, if you pull away, but there is nothing meaningful pulling you, she will feel that, and the effect disappears. So your absence must be backed by substance, by growth, by a life that is genuinely full. Because when she sees that you are thriving, when she realizes that your world does not revolve around her, something shifts in her perception. Now you are no longer just another man seeking her validation. You are a man with direction, a man with purpose, a man whose attention is valuable because it is not freely given to everyone at all times. And this aligns perfectly with female psychology, because attraction is not about who gives the most. It is about who creates the strongest emotional experience. And emotional experiences are built on contrast, on presence and absence, on certainty and mystery. So don't try to impress her with constant effort. Don't try to win her over by always being available. That is not how to fall in love in a way that lasts. Instead, create moments that matter, then allow space for those moments to breathe. Let her think about you. Let her wonder. Let her feel the difference between having you and not having you, because that difference is where desire grows. That difference is where she begins to value your presence. And understand this clearly. This is not about control. It is about self-respect. It is about building a life so engaging, so purposeful, that you naturally cannot be everywhere at once. And when you operate from that place, these psychology tricks stop being tricks. They become a reflection of who you are, a man who is present when it matters and absent when it is necessary, a man who gives deeply but not constantly, a man who understands that attraction is not built through repetition, but through emotional impact. So be intentional, be focused, be unavailable at times, not because you want to create distance, but because your life demands it. And when you do this consistently, calmly, without overthinking, you will notice a shift. She will start leaning in. She will start initiating. She will start wanting more of your time, your attention, your energy. Because now you are not predictable. You are intriguing. And intrigue is the doorway to desire. And desire, when built on respect and emotional depth, is what leads to something real, something lasting, something that feels effortless, yet powerful at the same time. Don't be the man she can predict, be the man she can't stop thinking about. Stay focused, stay busy, stay building a life so powerful that your presence feels like a reward, not a routine. That is what creates real attraction. And if you're ready to become that man, drop this in the comments right now. I am unpredictable, focused, and impossible to ignore. Behavior number 7, decisive leadership. Behavior number 7 is decisive leadership, and if you take this lightly, you will slowly lose attraction without ever seeing the exact moment it slipped away. Indecision doesn't crash the connection all at once. It wears it down quietly, like water dripping on stone. You've seen it before. Where do you want to go? I don't know. What do you want? Back and forth, polite, agreeable, but empty. No direction. No energy. No spark. Don't fall into that trap. Don't confuse being easygoing with being directionless. Be the man who chooses. Be the man who says, let's go here, or I've got something in mind for us tonight. That is not about control, and it's not about dismissing her preferences. It's about creating a path forward so she doesn't have to carry the weight of deciding everything. And this is where understanding female psychology becomes essential. Attraction grows in an environment where she can relax, where she can feel guided without feeling pressured, where she senses that you are grounded enough to take the lead when it matters. You must realize this. Constant hesitation sends a subtle message, I'm unsure. And uncertainty, when it comes from lack of direction, doesn't create mystery, it creates doubt. In the world of psychology tricks, certainty is magnetic. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be flashy. It just needs to be consistent. A man with presence doesn't ask the same question 5 times hoping for clarity. He creates clarity through action. That is how to fall in love in a way that feels natural, not forced, because she begins to associate you with ease, with movement, with experiences that just happen. Now, don't misunderstand this. Don't swing to the other extreme. Don't become rigid. Don't become dismissive. Don't turn leadership into a performance where you're trying to prove something. That's not it. True decisive leadership is quiet. It's thoughtful. It's aware. You pay attention to what she likes, what she enjoys, what lights her up, and then you act on that information. You say, I know a place you'll love, and you mean it. You plan something simple, but intentional. You create moments that feel effortless to her, even though you've put thought into them. That is the subtle art behind these psychology tricks. It's not manipulation. It's awareness applied with care. And when she feels that, something inside her shifts. She stops feeling like she has to manage everything. She stops feeling like she has to lead the interaction. She leans back into the experience. And when she relaxes, her natural attraction has room to grow. Here's the deeper layer that most men miss. Decisive leadership is not just about logistics, it's emotional too. When there's tension, don't avoid it. When there's confusion, don't disappear into silence. Be the one who steps in with clarity. Say, let's figure this out, or here's what I'm feeling. That is leadership at a higher level. That is where how to fall in love becomes something real, something grounded in trust, not just surface level excitement. Because attraction isn't only built on fun moments, it's built on how safe she feels when things aren't perfect. And safety, in female psychology, often comes from emotional steadiness, from knowing that the man she's with won't freeze when things get complicated, that he won't deflect, won't withdraw, won't become passive. He will stay present. He will guide the moment forward. And let's be honest, many men hesitate because they're afraid of making the wrong choice. They think, what if she doesn't like it? But here's the truth. A clear decision that isn't perfect is far more attractive than endless hesitation. Why? Because it shows confidence. It shows that you trust yourself. And self-trust is one of the most powerful signals you can send. In psychology tricks, this is a core principle. People are drawn to those who move through life with a sense of direction, even if that direction isn't flawless. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for clarity. Be willing to adjust if needed, but don't start from a place of uncertainty every time. That is exhausting for you and for her. Think about how this plays out over time. When you consistently lead with calm certainty, she begins to associate you with a certain feeling: ease, flow, stability. She knows that when she's with you, things move forward. There's no awkward pause, no endless debate over small decisions. Life feels smoother. And that emotional experience becomes addictive in the best way. That's where these psychology tricks intersect with real connection, because what you're creating is not just attraction, but a pattern of positive emotional experiences. And over time, that's exactly how to fall in love, not through grand gestures, but through consistent, grounded leadership that makes her feel safe to be herself. So don't drift. Don't sit back and wait for her to take the lead every time. Don't hide behind politeness when what's needed is direction. Be intentional. Be observant. Be decisive. That is not about being perfect. That is about being present and willing to step forward. And when you do that, when you embody that kind of steady, grounded leadership, you'll notice the shift. She'll relax more. She'll smile more. She'll engage more deeply. Because she feels it, she's with a man who knows where he's going, and more importantly, a man who is not afraid to lead the way. All right, listen closely. This is where most men get it wrong. They hear about these psychology tricks, they try one piece, and then wonder why nothing changes. That's not how this works. Attraction isn't built on one move. It's built on who you are consistently. You need all three: curiosity, respect, connection. Miss one, and the whole thing falls apart. Get all three right, and you don't chase attention. You become the man she can't stop thinking about. But here's the truth you cannot ignore. Don't fake it. Don't pretend. Women can feel that. You can't pretend to have a full life, you build one. You can't pretend to have standards, you live by them. You can't pretend to be real, you either are or you're not. So don't walk away from this video thinking, what line should I say? Ask yourself something better. What kind of man am I becoming? Because when you become that man, calm, focused, grounded, you don't need tricks. Your presence does the work. Your silence speaks. Your energy pulls people in. That's where real attraction starts. If this message hit you, if you feel that shift inside, go ahead and drop a comment with the word addicted. Let me know you're serious about leveling up. And if you're ready to build not just attraction, but a stronger, sharper version of yourself, hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more coming your way. Take care of yourself. Stay steady. And I'll see you in the next video.